Welcome to the deep dive. We take stacks of information, sift through them, and pull out the key nuggets for you. Today, we're looking at something really unique, an audio recording. It's titled 07802 Case Study.
Yeah, this one's fascinating. We're exploring the history, the power of something called Dhammakaya. And we do that through the life story of this incredible monk, Luang Pu.
Right. So our goal here is to unpack, the challenges, the successes tied to this ancient wisdom. We'll dig into some surprising details and try to understand these deep karmic links the source talks about, connecting past lives and present events. Just a reminder, our role here is to explore what's in these sources, the perspectives they offer. We're not endorsing them, just, laying out the information for you. Okay, so let's get into it. So the sources, they describe the Dhammakaya as like the Buddha's own knowledge, his actual wisdom, and apparently it just vanished about 500 years after he passed away.
Mysteriously disappeared.
Right.
But the key thing is, it wasn't gone forever. And that's where Luang Pu comes in. The accounts say he rediscovered it.
How?
Through incredibly intense spiritual practice. I mean, really intense, like dedicating his entire being, putting his life on the line, the source suggests.
Wow. And the abilities linked to this Dhammakaya, they sound pretty amazing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
The sources mention things like remembering past lives, knowing what others are thinking.
Okay.
Even, deflecting bombs in World War II, healing people. And some really cosmic stuff, too, like extinguishing the sun and stars. It's quite a list.
So if it's that profound, and maybe even mentioned in core scriptures like the Tipitaka,
Yeah.
why were people so skeptical?
That's a really good question. The sources suggest it boils down to this. If you hadn't practiced it yourself or seen it with your own eyes, it was just hard to swallow. People apparently accused Luang Pu of, making false claims, being dishonest.
But how did he react?
Well, the accounts describe him as very calm, powerful, but calm.
Whoa.
His response was basically, those who accused him just didn't understand Dhammakaya yet. He seemed confident the truth would, eventually shine through, like a jewel.
Okay, now let's get into the opposition he faced, because the sources detail some really intense stuff. It wasn't just talk, right? We're talking violence, poison.
Exactly. The first major incident described is, an assassination attempt. Someone actually shot at Luang Pu.
Shot at him!
Yeah, and the bullet went through his robe. Miraculously, it didn't injure him at all.
Wow.
But, and this is tragic, his close attendant, who was right there, was hit, badly wounded in the jaw.
Oh, no. Did they catch the shooter?
They did, a man named Mr. Rod. And here's where it gets really interesting. Luang Pu, according to the source, forgave him completely, even asked the court to drop the charges.
He forgave the person who tried to kill him.
That's what the account says. Incredible compassion. But the legal system did its thing anyway, and Mr. Rod went to prison.
And the sources connect this back to karma, don't they?
They do.
Yeah.
Deeply. Apparently, in a past life, Luang Pu was a prince, a skilled archer.
Yeah.
And Mr. Rod, in that life, was his jealous half-brother.
Okay.
During some competition, the Prince Luang Pu intentionally shot an arrow that just grazed the half-brother. Didn't really hurt him physically, but caused immense shame. And that act of shaming, the source claims, created this karmic resentment that carried over, leading to the assassination attempt lifetimes later.
And Luang Pu survived because...
Because of his huge store of accumulated merit and, the protective power of Dhammakaya itself. That's the explanation given.
What about the attendant who got hurt? Is there a karmic reason for that too?
Yes, the sources link his injury directly to his past karma, specifically from hunting and killing animals in previous lives. That negative karma ripened at that moment.
It's a complex web, and it wasn't just shooting. There were poisoning attempts too.
Multiple times, yes, through his food.
How did he deal with that?
Well, what's really compelling here is that the accounts say he knew every time in advance. His Dhammakaya insight supposedly warned him.
How could they be sure?
He demonstrated. Apparently, he'd dip a silver spoon into the poisoned food, and it would turn black instantly. There's even a chilling story where food meant for him ended up being eaten by some dogs and cats.
Yeah.
They died instantly. It sort of proved his foresight and the very real danger he avoided.
Where did these poisoning attempts come from? Who would do that?
The sources point to two things. Present-day jealousy from some people, but also this lingering karmic tie. Remember those rebels from Luang Pu's past life as a king? The ones who were exiled?
Yeah.
Apparently that resentment carried over too, manifesting as these poisoning attempts by people connected to that past group. His ability to know beforehand, though, that's credited directly to his Dhammakaya insight.
Okay, this is maybe the most unbelievable one from the sources. A hand grenade.
Yeah, a live hand grenade thrown right into their meal circle while they were eating.
What happened? Panic.
Oh, definitely panic from everyone else. But Luang Pu, totally calm.
Yeah.
He just told someone to go check it. It was real, fully functional, explosives inside, but it just didn't detonate. Simple as that.
And the source attributes that to.
Directly to the power of Dhammakaya, protecting them.
So we have these extreme events. Assassination attempts, poisoning, grenades. Why? What's the deeper karmic picture the sources paint?
Right. They offer explanations for everything. We talked about the shooting attempt stemming from that past life shaming incident. Mr. Rod's ultimate fate, the source mentions he was eventually killed after being released from prison, is linked to both his past karma, like being part of that rebellion against Luang Pu as king.
Which led to his exile and hatred.
Exactly. And combined with his present karma of trying to kill a highly virtuous person like Luang Pu, it all added up, according to this view.
And what about the general skepticism and misunderstanding people had about Dhammakaya early on? Was that just ignorance?
The sources suggest it was more than just not knowing. They talk about a couple of reasons. One was people being maybe too intellectual, thinking too much about it without actually practicing it. And the other reason given is something called kilesamara, which are basically mental defilements, things like greed, anger, delusion. These are seen as actively blocking genuine understanding, like clouds covering the sun.
The sources also talk about the consequences for people who actually slandered Luang Pu, right? Spoke against him.
Yes, and they make a clear distinction. Slandering him before he reached enlightenment supposedly led to terrible suffering in hell realms and a repeating pattern in future lives. But slandering him after he attained Dhammakaya, the sources say the karmic payback was even worse. Suffering in special, very unpleasant realms for unimaginable length of time, plus disasters in this life. It emphasizes the gravity of speaking against an enlightened being.
So despite all this, I mean, bullets, poison, slander, disbelief, Dhammakaya didn't just survive, it thrived. It gained acceptance, passed down for, over 88 years, the source says. What does that tell us?
Well, according to this perspective, it points to the inherent truth and the real benefit of the wisdom itself. The idea is that Dhammakaya isn't just Luang Pu's thing. It's presented as a reality within every person. So people who had enough merit, who followed the teachings, they could attain it too. They became witnesses.
Creating a legacy.
Exactly. And Luang Pu himself is apparently very humble about it, saying things like, Dhammakaya is sacred, not I, giving credit to the wisdom, not himself.
The source material also mentions a kind of historical cycle for Dhammakaya, doesn't it? It's not just about Luang Pu's time.
Right. It often disappears sometime after a Buddha passes away, like it did 500 years after the historical Buddha. And this disappearance is attributed to a specific force called Thyamara.
Thyamara, like a demonic influence.
Sort of. Described as a powerful spiritual force actively working against enlightenment, trying to suppress these teachings, erase the idea of Dhammakaya. Why? To keep beings trapped in the cycle of suffering, and to undermine respect for the Buddha, his teachings, the Dharma, and the monastic community, the Sangha.
And here's a really key claim from the sources. Luang Pu Wat Pak Nam. He's the one.
He's the one. The sources identify him as the specific spiritual figure whose job it is, in every era, to rediscover and bring back Dhammakaya after it's been lost or suppressed by Thyamara.
That's a huge responsibility. Does the source say it's always this difficult to bring it back?
It varies, apparently. Some past eras associated with previous Buddhas were like golden ages. You might have had a really virtuous world emperor who united everyone, single religion, single land.
Making it easy to spread the teachings.
Effortless, exactly. The Sangha, led by figures like Luang Pu in those past lives, could just teach freely. But other times, like ours, the source suggests, Thyamara actively interferes, causes division, conflict, makes the path really hard.
Which brings us to the world wars. The sources make a pretty bold claim about them.
A very significant claim. They state the world wars weren't just random geopolitical events, they were orchestrated by Thyamara.
Orchestrated. To do what?
To create chaos, basically. To disrupt human progress, hinder spiritual development, and specifically to stop the revival of Dhammakaya that Luang Pu was leading.
That's a really different perspective on world history.
It is. But the sources also say Luang Pu fought back. Not with weapons, obviously.
Right.
He used Dhammakaya itself to clear the subtle causes that Thyamara had put in place.
Meaning?
Essentially neutralizing the spiritual root causes of the conflict. addressing the problem at its source, demonstrating Dhammakaya's power, even against these massive, seemingly worldly forces.
Okay, to make these big ideas more concrete, the sources bring in another person's story. Mother Thuan Huttanukrom.
Yes, a really inspiring figure, a nun whose life just screams devotion and service.
Tell us about her. She wasn't originally Thai, right?
No, born in China, came to Thailand, became a trader. But even young, she was really drawn to the Dharma, to Buddhist practice. Became a nun at 20, even though her parents weren't happy about it.
And she was serious about her practice.
Incredibly serious.
Yeah.
The accounts mention her undertaking. Nazaji Kanga, not sleeping for 3 months straight, maintaining only sitting, standing, or walking postures. Just imagine the discipline.
That's intense. But there's also a story about her family duties.
Yeah, showing amazing filial piety. Her father became a monk later in life. And to care for her mother, Mother Thuan actually disrobed, left the nunhood for a while. She helped her mother understand Dharma too, before eventually going back and reordaining at Wat Pak Nam.
And at Wat Pak Nam, Luang Pu gave her a huge job.
Monumental. Managing all the food for the entire monastery. We're talking about feeding around 800 monks and nuns every single day.
Especially tough during World War II, I imagine. Food shortages.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But she got creative. The sources tell this famous story about papayas. Food was so scarce, she started growing papayas everywhere and basically made every meal out of papayas for years.
Wow, leading to the nickname.
The pickled papaya generation. It shows her resourcefulness and dedication in incredibly tough times.
And she just kept doing this, day in, day out.
Unwavering dedication. Getting ingredients super early, preparing massive meals with joy, even though it must have been exhausting. She did this until she was 70 years old, passed away at 97. The person recounting this even remembers her loud laugh and how she'd say, "Don't tell anyone," after sharing some little secret.
And again, the sources connect her life path to karma.
Yes, her deep love for Dharma, her long life, even her specific demanding job as head cook. It's all explained as the result of merit built up over many, many lives, especially merit from supporting the Sangha, feeding monks and nuns, and specifically aspiring to have that kitchen role.
So she wanted that job.
She aspired to it across lifetimes, yes.
Hmm.
And the sources say she's now been reborn as a deva, a god, in a special heavenly realm because of all that merit.
Okay, that brings up a practical point. What's the difference, merit-wise, between someone like her, the head cook, doing it constantly, and someone like, say, me, just donating food once in a while?
Good question. The sources explain it clearly. The head cook, like Mother Thuan, gets 2 kinds of merit. Dhanamai, which is merit from giving.
Okay, the donation part.
Right. But also via Vakmaya. That's merit from actively helping and supporting good deeds, from service. And the key difference is the continuity. She's doing it every single day, constantly accumulating both types of merit. The occasional donor gets Dhanamai, which is great, but only now and then. So the head cook's merit accumulation is described as much, much greater overall.
Makes sense. And one last practical tip from Mother Thuan's story. If you want good, supportive parents in future lives,
The sources offer a method for that too. First, become a Kalyanamitta.
a good spiritual friend.
Exactly. Be someone who inspires others to do good things, to practice Dharma, spread positivity and goodness. And second, crucially, after every good deed you perform, make a strong, clear aspiration, a wish, to be reborn into a family with righteous parents who support your spiritual path.
So intention matters a lot.
Immensely, according to this framework.
Wow. Okay, wrapping this up. This deep dive, looking through the lens of this audio source, it really gives a unique perspective. Destiny, karma, spiritual power, miraculous escapes, ancient wisdom, quiet dedication like Mother Thuan's. It definitely challenges how we might normally think about cause and effect.
It really does. And what stands out is this theme of resilience, how this profound truth, this Dhammakaya, faced so much opposition, disbelief, violence, suppression attempts, yet the narrative is that it endured, it's
Yeah.
shown through. That's a powerful message in itself.
So what's the takeaway for you listening? Well, maybe it's a reminder that things aren't always what they seem on the surface. Events that look improbable might have deeper roots, unseen causes, and that genuine effort, focused aspiration, maybe tapping into some profound wisdom, perhaps they can overcome huge obstacles.
You consider this thought from the sources. If accumulated merit in this Dhammakaya practice are presented as powerful enough to deflect bullets, stop bombs, maybe even influence wars, what other kinds of transformation, what other possibilities might open up through dedicated spiritual development in your own life? Something to think about.